Hey guys, it's MadCakeKing here, as you know me by, and today I want to talk about my favorite deck that I've been playing in Dragon Ball Super card game. This is the Sin Shenron Control version. I actually went undefeated with this last week, and then I did okay about 2-2 this week, but it was not my best matchups, and didn't play as good as I should have for some matchups I wasn't aware of, but anyways, overall, I would say Sin is one of the best decks in the meta and has been a menace for the longest time for a lot of people. Because it does so much and it almost feels like a single player game. People will joke about it and call it like. What I'll go over today is what each card does, what some of my first turns or second turns, so on, are like, what I want to see in my hand, and some of the interactions I like to do. Obviously, we'll start off with the leader. You start off with obviously 10k body, as most 90% of leaders do. When his card attacks, look up top 5 from your deck, add one Shadow Dragon among them to your hand, then shuffle your deck. Which, with that, is anytime I swing, I can add just about any of these, literally all of these, from there to here to my hand, because they all have the Shadow Dragon trait, and I can do that. It's very consistent, much more consistent than the flip side of when it attacks. And then at the end of a turn, choose one Shadow Dragon and switch it to active mode, which I'll go into which ones you're going to be usually doing. And then there's when your life is at 3 or less, or you have a unison of specific costs of 4 or more, you may draw 2, restand 1, and flip him over. On this side is when he attacks, he draws 1, which is not as good as the search out. It can be useful for like getting out any of this other stuff you need, but it's just more consistent on the other side, search out. And then in return, you switch all of your Shadow Dragons into active mode. And then there's a tap 6, which can be by God Sealing technique if they have it, or by some other counter plays that can do it. But the thing is with that, a lot of time people just don't recognize that when they're declaring the counterplay window 2 of countering, all that stuff comes out, or if it goes to the bottom, it goes to your hand, it goes to drop. What you can do still is, because they're doing that right there, that's when you can determine how many Shadow Dragons you are going to go up to 7, which means you do 0, you choose a 0, but it is a tap out, so that's the hard problem. Let's say, for example, with this deck, you burst a lot, so it's a lot going to drop area. If it's going bottom, you can choose up to that many to go back into your deck so you don't mill yourself out. A very, very good skill, but it has that problem with God Sealing and all that. There's Allies Absorb here. Unique, tap 1. Choose Yellow Shadow Dragon energy cost 4 or less in your battle area. Draw 1, then play him. He's one of the best cards in the deck. All these cards in this deck are very, very good. This being one of the best ones. And what makes this skill so broken is not just that, but when you activate main, you choose in yellow, obviously your leader's the Yellow Shadow Dragon, and you send one mono yellow Shadow Dragon between 2 and 4 that isn't a sin from your drop area to your warp, and he adds 1 card to your life to your hand, and he gains the skills of a card until end your opponent's next turn. Which, for example, we got a double striker here, a barrier blocker, or dual attack. You can all choose from, because they're all not sins. This right here is your always 90% of the time is your turn 1 play. You're gonna get him out no matter what. I don't play any of the other balls in this deck because it feels unnecessary with this control version. Tap 1, you play him, or you can use some other effects to play him. You can't be affected by your opponent's skills. Tap 1, play 2 and 4 costs from your deck if that's a sin. From your deck or hand, play it, and then shuffle your deck if you look through it. Which, with that, you're always going to be playing Shadow Dragon Leader, which here is your 19k body, a blocker, that when he's played, his auto procs here, which is when he's played, you choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards. When your opponent's leader cards or rest mode of energy cost 4 or less than rest mode and can't attack until the next turn. And then when he's removed by a skill, or from, let's say someone uses a skill to KO it, drop power to 0 or anything like that, he will play a 1-star ball and draw 1. Which he then evolves. We'll skip this one for a second, go over to here. Destruction Incarnate, probably the best card in the deck. Currently, you X evolve your 4 costs into him. He's Blocker Revenge, and when your opponent plays a battle card, you may choose that battle card, ignoring barrier, and negate skills return. So it blinks a card besides its on-play autos, which is absolutely busted. Regardless if it gets on-play autos, it's still pretty fucking busted. Because it is not once per turn. You can just always do it every time. You just tell him, declare Destruction Incarnate, hit set. And then when it's removed from your battle area by opponent's skill or KO'd, you draw 2, play a 1-star ball, and you just start the chain all over again. One of the most problematic cards in the deck that a lot of people hate. We go here to Ultimate Shadow Dragon. You warp 7. You tap 1, warp 7, draw 1, play him. He's a 30k triple striker, which is just really, really good. If they don't have an answer to him, then he can threaten triple strike, which is really good against your opponents. This is a pretty good one as well. When you have a Yellow Shadow Dragon out and play, reduce him by 3. You tap 1, you play him, and then he can either be your 15k body, or you can do the activate main once per turn, burst 2, play 1 with 19k power or less, and different character name. Then you already have him play, and can't play battle cards or drop it after the turn. This can be usually just used for some reason if you want to get this back out and use this auto, which we'll go into here in a few. Or if you just want to get, like, let's say you don't have 1-star ball out for some reason, you could bring out 1-star back for your drop. I'm sorry, no, you couldn't actually. Really, it's just with him, all you're doing with that is just bringing out this, or if for some reason you don't have a sin out, you can bring him back out. Oceanus, she's just another search out, or when you can play her from your drop, your drop from the tap 6, but usually you're just activating main, you're discarding her, burst 1, which fuels your drop more for other skills from our cards here. And then if you end up swinging to her, like from the 6 drop, from the tap 6, this card attacks, choose the one your opponent's battle card, switch to rest mode. If a card you switch to rest mode has energy cost 2 or less, KO it. And barrier blocker, which you can just warp her and give allies absorb barrier blocker. This is for if you don't get the 1-star ball out for some reason, but you end up getting him, you just play this. Now please, you use this by tap 1, discard it, play a 1-star ball. Rear deck with skills negated for turn, which turn 1 you're not doing anything besides playing a 1-star ball. Here's one of my favorite cards in the deck right now. This has been my MVP for so long. I run 4 of him, without a doubt I run 4 of him. So let's say your opponent is starting a shotgun, and that card does not have barrier. This will just stop the play completely. And they're sitting there and they're shotgunning at you with this card that's in rest mode, because it's automatically in rest mode when it's attacking, and it's usually a shotgun of a card that's greater in energy. And you combo with this, so you do not have to combo up any higher, and you just pitch a Shadow Dragon from your hand, and that card's dead, immediately ending the battle. Like I said, that's another one of the best cards in the deck, 100%. Swift Spirals here. This is another really good one. You can run 3 of this. I personally run 4 of it because of how defensive I get with it. I use it from hand. When it's your opponent's turn, use it from hand. You burst 1, and you restand it, which you're usually always going to be... Sometimes you'll restand him if he has barrier blocker. You'll be restanding Destruction Incarnate a lot, so you can get another block off and keep him safe, so you can keep negating skills as they come out. Or you can restand him just for another defensive step. And the burst one, as always, fuels your drop for other stuff. Forbidden Power. Very good card. counterattack, which with this, since it does not negate the attack, you can tap one, use it, and then it can only attack once more for the turn, and then you block after the counterattack window on this. Or you can activate battle for tapping one. If your early card is yellow and it's your turn, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, ignore a barrier, switch it to rest mode, and choose one of your yellow cards that gets 10,000 power for the battle. That can be in your leader, that can be in your unison, that can be on the end of your battle cards. It does not have to be anything specific. And this is on your turn. So you can combo offensively if unisons, just not defensively. Power of Super Saiyan, one of the best cards that got actually limited to one because of how good it is. If you have one or more yellow energy active mode, you can activate battle without paying its skill costs. Leader's mono yellow, draw one, choose one of your opponent's battle cards or unison cards and switch to the rest mode. And that's just good for obvious reasons. Now we go into the unisons here. Blocker, MadCakeKing's Plan Revival. He's a tap 4. One of your awakened cons if you're not free life or less. He's very fucking good. When this card loses markers due to an opponent's attack, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and one of your opponent's cards and switch the rest of them. That can be leader, unison, battle card, anything. As long as it doesn't have barrier. +1, draw one. Choose your opponent's battle cards rest mode, ignoring barrier, and it can't be switched to your opponent's next turn. -4 is a very good game ender. If you need a last resort, use -4. Steal that big guy they have. If it doesn't have barrier, take control of it and switch to active mode and just swing it at them with it. Another very slept on one, Goku Black Emery Trespasser. Literally all he really is just for being offensive and awakening early, because you're tapping 3 instead of tapping 4, and then you play him, the free markers on him. +0, he gains blocker on your opponent's next turn. -1, choose one of your opponent's battle cards, rest mode negate, skills for return, and KO it. Very good, as obvious reasons. Secret rare we run here, Celestino Unspeakable Abomination. It got an errata because of, for obvious reasons, what it did. It does not, it gets quad strike, as it says here, only if you have 5 more energy. This where here was the old version, where it automatically had quad strike by default, but now it only gets quad strike when you have 5 more energy. So basically with this, it's 12 cost, but you declare a successor with cards that equal exactly 12. It cannot be higher than 12 or lower than 12. It has to be 12 exactly. You declare a successor. You put those cards in your battle drop that equal 12 energy. You play them out. Turn 5, usually always want to play them. And then you rip 3 cards from your opponent's hand. You choose 3 random ones. And then he gains dual attack and quad strike, which just obliterates your opponent if they got no answers to him. He's a very low budget secret rare right now too, because he's really good still in Sin and some other decks, but he was mainly a turn 2 killer in Sin, and some other decks could just get a win con really early. Final Flash, amazing extra card. I don't see why you wouldn't run this in Control Sin. Tap 1, choose up to one of your leader cards or battle cards, and it gets 15k for duration of battle. While your energy is yellow, you activate this card, choose one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, negate skills for duration of turn, so it blanks the card, no perms, no indestructible, none of that shit. No triple strike, and it's just a great all-rounder, as it says here. Zamasu Super Combo. If your leader card is blue or yellow, when you use combo from your hand, any combos from your hand, choose one of your opponent's leader cards or battle cards, switch it to rest mode. That, the main reason I run 2 of them is because of a split I run super combos. What you do with that is you can use it just about any turn you want, but use it for when you want to keep your opponent leader locked, when they, if they awaken early, and then they can flip back over and actually attack, since it's a new card from Shadow Dragon Leader's effect. If you want to do that to your leader, or if a battle card seems very friendly, you can do that. And then the exact chain with that, you do that, and then you do Poutine. You can use Poutine, and when she's she comes out when she's unique, so obviously only one of her, and on the field at a time. If your card is yellow, when your opponent's card switches to rest mode by one of your card skills, and you play this card from your hand. Once per turn, when your opponent plays a battle card using the skill or activates a counter, choose one of your opponent's battle cards, switch to rest mode. So it can make the card that's coming out automatically go to rest mode. Or you can just choose one of our battle cards that you don't want out. And then, let's see. Moments from comeback. I was thinking about maybe running a split between him and Zamasu, but I run one just for that extra push, which is just when your life's at 4 or less. Gets 10k, bottom one from your hand, draw 2 cards. Pretty simplistic. One of my favorite super combos, which I'm also side decking the second one of in case I want to just do that against certain matchups maybe. If your card is green, yellow, or a heroine card, this card is using a combo from your hand, choose one. Choose your opponent's leader cards or unison cards, switch to rest mode. Poutine window can come out there from that too. If it's your turn, choose your opponent's skills, battle cards, and KO it. This is one of my favorite interactions, like I did last night from playing at Card Shop Tournament. Destruction Incarnate can hit it, or you can do tap one Vinyl Flash, like something's really annoying. Give your card, attack card, a 15k bonus, ignore a barrier, make that card blank, and then KO it from this. Because that card is blank, I mean, since it's automatically your turn, you're going to combo with this, get rid of that card, it's gone. They can't do anything because Final Flash ignores barrier, card no longer has barrier, this goes boom, it's dead. Favorite instruction shot, but you could run 2 in this if you want. Just tap 1 to combo with it, give your attacking card double strike. Fighting Against Fate, you're overwhelmed. One of your good game finishers. Just dual attack 25k body. Poutine, we've already explained. And here's another win con that's helped me a lot lately. Let's see, you're pushing per game. Sin's got 20k bodies or higher constantly out. And you're like, alright, well, I gotta win here. You go swing, they Violent Raise, or they God Seal, or some of your tap 6, or they're God Sealing some of your big stuff coming out before you even swing. You tap free, play this, draw a card. You have 6 more in rest mode, draw another. This won me a game last night, it's won me a few games lately. I went to go swing. This person, what did he do? I forgot what they did exactly, but they did a counter attack, and then I tapped free. I played that. I had 6 cards in rest mode, so I drew 2 cards, and then I drew in the cell, which allowed me to win the game there. Phenomenal card. It is a tap free, yes, but it is absolutely worth it to negate the counter and get that final game push you need. So in Violent Raise, you can just go, nope, tap free. I'm going to push for the game. Violent Raise activate, it goes to drop. This I mainly run for cards, for decks that draw a lot, or like Grave Coup, which is one of the best decks in meta right now. Tap 2, negate the attack. On your opponent's turn, you reduce her by 3, and they can't attack unless they mill 4, which is good for obvious reasons. The rest of this doesn't matter because your leader is not a Black Shadow Dragon, so you don't want to get these other skills. Very good sideboard card. Round with Gods, another good side deck card. If the card is yellow, choose one of your cards. That means Unison, Leader, Battle. Gets 10,000 for the battle, and choose one. If it's your turn, choose all your opponent's battle cards and rest mode, KO on it. If it's your opponent's turn, draw 1, choose your opponent's battle cards, switch into rest mode. This is just negate the attack, and then you can bounce this back to your hand, so you can use it for something else. But you cannot activate for the copy's turn, so you can basically just get a tap 1 negate and universal, and then just warp 4 cards and from your drop and bounce back to your hand. Activate main. If something's big on there, it doesn't have barrier, or you negated it with barrier. Let's say you just blank the card, Final Flash, or whatever. That doesn't matter. If it's blank from barrier, or if it's just a normal card of not barrier, without barrier, you can just send that to a warp. So it's a big guy, it's just gone immediately. Dragon Thunder, which I've seen a lot of people actually starting using this a lot more lately. It's a good card that can be good for situations. You have 3 more energy rest mode. You activate a Violet to pay its energy costs, activate main or battle. If your lead card is a Shadow Dragon, choose one Shadow Dragon in your leader area or battle area, and it gets 5k power per turn. If you pay the energy costs to activate the skill, choose one card in your opponent's battle area and negate its skills for a turn. So it does not get around barrier, but that will get through indestructible and stuff like that. And then here's a good hard cast, which I was recommended to by 2 friends. One's my friend Bruce I've met lately and started playing with him, and he's been playing a lot of Sin. And then our friend Jordan recommended me this as well. He said, yeah, they told me both. It is a tap 5, but against blue in our matchups, it's very worth the tap 5. This can't be removed from your battle area by your opponent's skills. The only way to get rid of it is by dropping the cost to 0. It has deflect, double strike blocker, so charismatic or stuff like that will not hit this. It is coming out unless they manage to drop the power to 0 on it. If your card is yellow, when this card is played, choose all your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, cave all of them, and flip one card in your life face up. That part doesn't matter too much, but when it returns, switches back to active mode. So it's a double strike that switches right back to active mode. And then activate once per turn. When your opponent activates a counterattack skill, choose up 2 of your cards, so that can be your leader, battle cards, unison. Switch them to rest mode. That can be switched to active mode until your energy out of your opponent's next turn. You can even actually tap for energy as well in that, which is very, very good. That about does it overall with it. I'm playing this deck for about a month or so, and it's probably like I said, it's probably my favorite deck currently. It's a lot of fun. It's won me my first tournament, and overall I've been doing pretty damn good with it. A lot of people talk shit about me Crown Eater deck and all that, but whatever, you know. A lot of people just get filtered by it, and that's okay. I think it's still going to be one of the best decks for a while now. It's been one of the best decks since its launch. And I will link a video on how to play this game complete for those who aren't aware in my Discord and all that. Not sure how to play the game generally, not know a lot I'm talking about. I'll link a general guide of how to play with the rules and everything. If you have any questions, feel free to comment in the video below. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.